Hello and welcome to the Ecological Delve, where we will be taking a closer look into the world of Monster Hunter. Now, what we have here is the Paolumu. So, just a small disclaimer, I will 100% be pronouncing this guy's name differently every time I say it in this video. I just can't wrap my dyslexic head around it for some reason. This fluffy rat with wings is found only in the Coral Highlands, but unlike the Ziziaku from the previous video, this one has actual reasoning for this other than ineptitude. The Paolumu's primary food source is the eggs of the coral that is this zone's namesake. And the way it consumes these eggs is incredibly unique. It has sacs in its neck that allow him to suck in large quantities of air in a short amount of time. By doing this around clusters of coral, the Paolumu is able to filter feed not unlike the way we see with some whales in the ocean. But the ability to consume and store vast amounts of air simultaneously has other uses as well. In this case mainly for transportation and for combat. The Paolumu falls under the ever-so-creative class of flying wyvern. And to the dismay of many new hunters, it is a classification that is well-deserved. While in combat, he will spend about half of the fight in the air, giving melee hunters a real run for their money. You best get down here, boy, before I find myself in the market for a new studded belt.
Michelle! Get my strap.
And for those elegant range hunters, it's business as usual. Except by inflating his neck sacs, this guy has generously given them a larger target to hit. But woe be to the close range hunters, in particular the dual blade users, whose only option is to run around in circles anime style until the monster decides to have pity and put them out of their misery. Or until they remember they have a clutch claw strapped to their arm, whichever happens first. There are a few ways of getting this puffy pimple popped. Why did I write that? The easiest methods are have one of the other local inhabitants do it for you. The Odogaron is very efficient at this task.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
Or just use a flash pod. It's actually the easiest. Of course, there is always the brute force method, but you might discover that he is surprisingly pop resistant, so I often find myself in need of the hammer. Good afternoon, Mr. Rat with Wings. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Hammer. Hammer who?
Hammer down!
So that should be it. He flies around a bunch. He's got a neck sack thing. Oh yeah, his tail is super tough, so just don't. And let me see. He's got the occasional air blast ability, so just, watch out for that. Let me see. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, yeah! He has a subspecies! What we have here is the Nightshade Paolumu. After the Research Commission initiated the Iceborne expansion, Paolumu decided that it was time for an upgrade. And I must say that he pulled off quite the glow-up. Ditching that boring printer paper white fur, Nightshade has a brilliant new coat of purple and black, with a little accenting around his collar region. This is due to his expansion into other zones outside of the Coral Highlands. Bright white doesn't really make effective camouflage in the ancient forest or the oasis of the Wildspire Wastes. But aesthetics aren't the only thing different. Nightshade Paolumu has stepped up his game on the field as well. The movements haven't changed much, honestly, but he is more aggressive, is able to stay airborne for longer periods of time, and has a higher pool of stamina. So you'll have to stay on your toes if you want to avoid being brought back to camp head first. But the biggest difference is easily his new fart gas. His air sacs have developed the ability to infuse the air with a narcotic that will put you to sleep faster than mama saying you're about to miss the school bus. I refer to these sleepy clouds as fart gas because it is just as annoying as public flatulence. He will do everything in his power to spray and spew his fart gas all over whatever arena you happen to be fighting in until there is no escape. Even other monsters can fall victim to this new world Sandman. My initial thought was that he had eaten a sleep toad and his body absorbed its toxin-producing characteristics. But it must be something wholly unique because the Nightshade is immune to his own sleeping gas, but not to any other source. Granted, he has a higher tolerance for it, but savvy hunters are still able to use their sleeping ammo, as well as sleep toads just the same. The regular Paolumu needs a bit of time in order to build up enough air to float around with. Not so with the Nightshade, just one puff and he's ready to play, and show you just what that fart gas can do. Honestly, if you don't shut him down quickly with either some ailments or a flash pod here and there, you're gonna have a bad time because there is no inception in the new world. Hunters can't fight anything in their sleep. Is that the plot of that movie? I've never actually watched it. I swear, fighting him was the first time I felt the need to whip out the immunity booster and the immunity mantle at the same time. Even Val Hazak doesn't cause this much of a headache. You can always try to slip some sleep resistance into your build, but I feel it's honestly not worth messing with your loadout. Especially when the old-fashioned adage of applying a little get good does the trick. Before researching for this video, I had thought that Paolumu was a very divisive monster, but it looks like it's not a matter of liking or disliking him. But for most of us, it appears to be a more love-hate relationship. For the regular Paolumu, his neck thing is kind of memorable, but he doesn't do a whole lot besides that. And for the Nightshade, the change in look is universally appreciated, but everyone hates the fart gas because being put to sleep in the middle of combat is the most infuriating thing ever. These mixed emotions could be caused by the delivery of this monster to us hunters. On the one hand, both the standard Paolumu and the Nightshade have really awesome introductions, at least in my personal opinion. But on the other hand, he has got to be the most disrespected monster by the Research Commission in the New World. I mean, just look at some of these mission briefings. I'm sorry, I just retched thinking about this monster's face. Seriously, you'll be doing it a favor and us too. Even the chief ecologist has dropped all pretenses of conducting research with regards to the Paolumu. This is sort of an odd request, but we're having a birthday party coming up this weekend, and we're in desperate need of balloons. Like, are you seriously going to use this guy's corpse as inflatable party decoration? The Nightshade Paolumu isn't safe from the hate either. This mission is straight up called A Face Nightmares Are Made Of. There I was, minding me own business, when suddenly the ugliest face I'd ever seen jumped out at me. I must have fainted, but when I came to, it was gone. I know it's still out there with its hideous face. Please, Hunter, I still have nightmares about it. Poor Paolumu isn't safe from anyone. Even Granny Grandmaster Chef has something to say about it. Can you please go out there and smack that ugly thing upside its ugly head so we can get these ingredients? And here we all thought she was just a nice old lady, but clearly she used to stack bodies back in her day, and I bet you she was a hammermain. It's not just the Commission either. His fellow monsters give him hell too. He doesn't have many turf wars, only 3 in fact, but he does lose all of them. The first 2 monsters make sense. Legiana and Odogron are his biggest competitors for personal space. But why the heck does he get into a turf war with the Rajang? Does he not know that the Super Saiyan Harambe eats lightning unicorns for breakfast? He must have some kind of death wish. That one's on him.
Nom nom nom. Nom.
I will admit I was in the same boat as everyone before making this video, but after doing my research, and especially after reading those mission briefings, I have come to the conclusion that he really doesn't deserve the hate he gets. For instance, the standard Paolumu does one very important job for new hunters specifically. He gives them a glimpse of what it is like to fight monsters who spend more time in the air than they do on the ground. And this makes good practice because they will be introduced to Rathalos very soon, and they don't call that big red meanie the king of the sky for nothing. For the Nightshade, I can't say his purpose is as grandiose, but his use of the sleep ailment does give it some representation it kind of needed in the New World. It also allows him the capability of giving even veteran hunters a run for their money. And even they would admit that an annoying monster is better than a boring one. The Paolumu may be annoying to fight, and may be a little on the ugly side, but he is by no means unimportant. And the New World would definitely not be the same if he weren't in it. I have been your host, Kanani96. This has been the Ecological Delve. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends, and stay tuned for the next episode. Look at this description! Paolumu is a bat-like wyvern that slightly resembles the Honduran white bat. What? Where are they getting that from? Because the Paolumu is God's punishment towards mankind for our hubris of establishing our own standards of what is and is not beauty, while the Honduran white bat is the most adorable thing in the world. Oh my God! Look at the little nose!